Most people spend their lives waiting for a sign, a door to open, a number to change, someone to give approval. But what if it's the opposite? What if what you always thought was the end is actually the only beginning that matters? What if the only way to get what you want is to act like you already have it? Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what separates those stuck in desire from those who manifest with clarity. The end is the key, not the final prize, but the true starting point. Maybe you've been wishing for something for months, maybe even years, and the problem lies in that word, wishing. Because wishing is admitting you still don't have it. Now take a deep breath and think with me. What if you started to feel, think, and act like someone who's already received it? That shift, which sounds simple, is actually a revolution. That's where the law of assumption steps in. Not to promise you magic, but to show you the raw power of a new inner stance. This video isn't for people who want to see if it works. It's for those who are ready to live from the end, take on a new emotional identity, and watch the world bow to it. It might feel counterintuitive at first, but that's exactly why it works. Feeling is the secret, and once you learn to feel before you see, the impossible starts to give in. Ready to flip the switch with Neville Goddard? Then take a breath and come with me. But be careful. Understanding this in theory is easy. The real challenge is holding on to that state, while everything around you still looks the same. Living in the end doesn't mean pretending or fooling yourself into thinking something already happened. It means mentally, emotionally, and energetically stepping into the version of you who already has what you desire. It's the opposite of waiting. It's starting where most people think the journey ends. Doesn't matter if there's no outside evidence yet. When you live in the end, you carry certainty inside you, like catching the smell of coffee before you even see the mug. And if you really want to manifest powerfully, here's a challenge. For 7 days, act as if you already have it. No exceptions. Are you in? It's in this inner space that the law of assumption starts to work its magic. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. And living in the end means stepping into that new version of yourself, even if everything around you still looks the same. It's like someone walking into a job interview already acting like they've been hired. The posture shifts, the energy shifts. That kind of internal coherence reshapes everything around you. Think about it. If someone told you you're already a millionaire, how would you feel right now? Without checking your bank account, without waiting for the transfer, just the feeling. That's the invitation Neville Goddard makes when he says, live in the end. It's not make-believe, and it's an inner realignment. Imagination creates reality, but only when you emotionally move into the end scene. And that's where the real power is, using that state as your creative starting point. Most people start from the problem, from the lack, from, I still don't have it. But those who understand the power of creative imagination start from the end. Yep, from the result already achieved, like playing life's movie in reverse. That's the real secret behind living in the end, turning desire into identity and expectation into an emotional memory of something that already happened. The end is the key that unlocks the invisible. When someone decides that success is already their starting point, everything shifts. The mind stops chasing and starts creating. Actions flow differently, with more confidence, more ease. What used to feel like effort now feels natural. It's like an artist who already sees the finished painting in their mind and is just following the strokes. What guides them isn't the lack anymore, but the internal vision of what already is. That kind of starting point changes your internal structure. People who live in the end start noticing the signs of it, a quiet peace, an odd clarity, little synchronicities that feel like subtle confirmations. The energy shifts because the inner control center has shifted, and when that center changes, everything around it starts to align. But there's a tricky trap a lot of people fall into, confusing wishing with living in the end. Wishing is easy. Anyone can wish. It's the "it would be nice if" mindset, the "maybe someday" energy. But living in the end takes a whole different posture. It's "this is already mine," even without touching it. Wishing focuses on the lack. Living in the end is stepping into fullness. Think about someone who always says, "When I have the money, I'll invest in myself." And another person who, even with limited resources, already moves like they know they're expanding. Who do you think the universe responds to first? While one is begging, the other is giving thanks. One says "I want," the other says "I am." The difference may sound subtle, but it changes everything. When someone's wishing, they're automatically sending out the frequency of not having. The universe picks that up as, she doesn't have it, and reflects more of the same. But the one who imagines already having it, who feels whole now, becomes a magnet for matching realities. That's why so many people say, "But I've been visualizing and nothing's happening." It's because they're visualizing from desire, not assumption. That's where internal coherence breaks down. If you want to put this into practice, try this. Every morning when you wake up, ask yourself, how would I move today if this were already real? Do what you do. Dress like you already have it. Even your rituals change. It might feel theatrical, but it's not pretending. It's vibrational embodiment. And slowly you'll feel the shift. Your body starts reacting differently, and your mind begins accepting this new normal. That's when your imagination kicks in with full power. When used right, imagination isn't an escape from reality. It's how you design the invisible. Living in the end means creating vivid end scenes full of sensory detail. It's not just about seeing, you have to feel it. Hear someone congratulating you. Feel the texture of your new car's steering wheel. Hear the sound of your footsteps in your own home. These kinds of details are what give shape to the unseen. Neville Goddard used to say that imagining you already have it is the starting point of manifestation. It's not about repeating stiff scenes, but picking one that truly represents your new life and revisiting it until it feels as real as an old memory. It's like watching your favorite movie scene over and over. Eventually it becomes part of you. The only difference is this one hasn't happened yet, but it will. A great time to do this? At night, just before falling asleep. Lay down, close your eyes, and pick a short but meaningful scene. For example, someone hugging you and saying, "We did it," or seeing your business name featured somewhere. Repeat it with emotion until your body reacts. These assumption rituals are more powerful than 1,000 affirmations, and the more you feel it's already yours, the more real it becomes. And that leads us to the next step, feeling that state as your present reality. Here's where many people get lost. They can visualize, but they can't feel it. And without feeling, the scene has no life. Feeling is the secret, as Neville always said. When you feel like it's already yours, like it's real right now, your body starts syncing up with that reality. The mind stops resisting and starts cooperating, and your inner world begins to direct the outer one. Want a practical example? Imagine getting the message that you passed that impossible exam. You haven't seen the paycheck yet, but you already feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude. That's the state you need to recreate every single day. Living in the end means sparking that same reaction in your body until it becomes your new normal. The frequency changes, and reality, which can't resist a steady inner conviction, starts responding. That's when the first signs show up. Quiet, almost unnoticeable, but spot on. The more you feel, the more you embody it. And the more you embody it, the more you become it. That's the upward spiral of the law of assumption. You're not just believing, you're literally shaping yourself to hold this new life. Your body stops waiting and starts acting, and that generates a level of internal coherence that reality can't ignore. But what happens when that coherence breaks? It doesn't help to say the right things if deep down you're still doubting. That kind of internal mismatch short-circuits your manifestation. It's like trying to drive with the parking brake on. When you say you're living in the end but still feel fear, frustration, or scarcity, what you're actually putting out is confusion, and life mirrors that confusion. Internal coherence isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Thinking one thing, feeling another, and acting in a totally different way is exactly what keeps your reality stuck. And here's the hard truth. Your daily behavior always reveals what you really believe. If you say I'm prosperous but check your bank account with anxiety every day, something's off. That's why it's so important to track your emotional patterns. They reveal what you're truly assuming to be real. Living in the end is about internal unity, not just repeating words. A great place to start? Every day, write 3 simple sentences that describe how you feel already living that result, but only write what you can actually feel. If you don't feel it yet, tweak the sentence until it lands for you. This simple exercise rewires your emotional baseline and brings your thoughts, emotions, and perception into alignment. From that point on, your assumption rituals become supercharged and begin setting a new rhythm for your inner world. Nothing grows without rhythm. Just like a muscle needs consistent training to grow, your mind needs consistent practice to stay in the state of already having it. That's why assumption rituals aren't a luxury, they're a necessity. Revisiting that state every morning and night builds a solid bridge between the invisible and the visible. Repetition isn't boring, it's foundational. Ever had that feeling of déjà vu, but in a good way? That's what happens when your inner scene starts to feel more real than what's actually around you. When you close your eyes at night and the bed feels like it's in a new apartment, a new city, a new life, your subconscious starts to believe it's home. Feeling is the secret, but consistent feeling is the accelerator. You begin living in the end, even while the process is still unfolding. You don't need hours a day. You need focused intention. 5 minutes of deep emotional practice before bed beats a full hour of distracted effort. Use that time to drop into your end scene. See it, feel it, give thanks. Turn it into a mini ritual, and before long, your body will start to crave that moment, like reuniting with something sacred. But keeping this new rhythm alive also means breaking free from old patterns. You don't need to fight your current reality, but you do need to stop identifying with it. The biggest block for anyone trying to live in the end is clinging to what they see now, as if it's permanent. But everything changes when you swap the question, why hasn't it happened yet? For how would I act if it already had? That's when the cycle breaks. Inertia dissolves when you start operating from your assumed future. Every time you resist an old pattern, that recurring thought, that familiar fear or anxiety, you're actively reprogramming your mind. It's like stepping off a worn dirt path and creating a new one through thick brush. At first it's harder, but with repetition that new trail becomes a clear road. The more you move from a place of inner coherence, the more natural this new state becomes. Simple example, if today you feel rejected but choose to live in the end as someone loved and valued, try this. Write letters of gratitude every day for the love you're now receiving. It might sound silly, but those small actions are signs you're living in the end. They shift your energy and rewrite your old identity. And the more you do it, the more you'll notice the echoes of change showing up around you. Living in the end isn't something you measure only by outer results. The first signs come from within. One of the clearest ones, that sense of familiarity with your new state. What once felt out of reach starts to feel like home. You wake up peaceful, fall asleep with gratitude, and carry a quiet confidence, even when nothing around you has visibly changed yet. It's a kind of faith that doesn't need to shout. Another clear sign, you stop asking when will it happen. That anxious question disappears because your mind already accepted it as done, and synchronicities start showing up like soft nudges. Someone says what you were just thinking, an opportunity pops up out of nowhere, or an old issue resolves without effort. These are signs you're living in the end, gentle proof that your new state is being matched externally. You'll also notice a shift in your behavior. You'll start making decisions that align with your assumed identity. If you're living as someone financially free, you'll manage money better, dress with more care, and surround yourself with different energy. These small decisions stack up and build your visible world. And when everything starts flowing with ease, that's how you know the invisible is about to become visible. There comes a point when manifestation doesn't come with fireworks. It just happens. When you live in the end daily, your outer world becomes a natural reflection of your inner state. Things shift and fall into place so seamlessly that others say, wow, that happened fast. But you know it's been unfolding inside you for a long time. That's the law of assumption in full swing. This is the beauty of full manifestation. It doesn't demand force. It calls for alignment. Everything you nurtured in thought, emotion, and action begins to harmonize, and the physical world can no longer resist. Living in the end stops being a technique. It becomes who you are. The new you begins walking through the world, and the world reacts as if it's always been that way. That moment where imagining already having it turns into, I have it. And that's when you finally understand. Imagination creates reality because it shapes your inner world, and your inner world shapes everything around you. It's not magic, it's structure. And once you internalize that structure, you realize the end you were chasing was just the beginning of a whole new life. But to reach that place, there's one thing left, a shift, an inner repositioning that changes everything. And that's where the real journey begins. Are you really going to let another week go by just like the last? Still almost there, still waiting? Let me ask you this, how many more days will you keep waiting for something to change on the outside before you finally change on the inside? How long will you replay the same cycle of lack, doubt, and delay if you already know living in the end is what flips the script? What would shift in your eyes, in your voice, in that decision you're about to make tonight before bed? The truth is, imagination really does create reality, but only when you align with the scene you want to live. So tell me in the comments, what's your end What state will you step into starting today? And if this message opened something in you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Keep diving deep into the law of assumption, into Neville Goddard's legacy, and into everything that can transform your life from the inside out. Because here, we don't just dream, we manifest with intention.